It's your boy back again for another fun-filled episode of Walk with Your Boy. Yeah, man, there's a lot of shit going on, and people are acting as if they know who their enemy is. You know, when commands change, the first thing they do is get rid of all of the previous commands supporters. If they keep any of the previous command supporters on board when they check in and relieve the previous command, the command hasn't changed. See, there's such thing as command climate. You can only change things for the better if you get rid of the old regime. We got people over here not even understanding that you can't get rid of a sore if you don't clean it. Get rid of all the dead skin. You gotta have to scrape that shit off. I mean, scrape it as much as possible, all the way down to the raw flesh to make that shit heal up. And it heals up faster and even better than it was before. What people are trying to do right now is just put a bandage over a festering wound and shit. And the way we put that bandage over, people talking about go out and boycott and place your vote and shit like that. You don't realize, man, they trying to get your attention as far away from them as possible. The people that don't want you to be, concerned about them, it's the people that's the ones that's doing all the fucking dirt. And guess what? All of these states is blaming it on the federal government. All of this shit that's happening right now is being pointed at the federal government. These people know exactly what they're doing. It's not like it's a mystery. They've been doing it for hundreds of years. This is how government is run. We have to control the served in order for them to get great service. We are the served. And that's what we don't understand. We want to constantly become the servant. A citizen is served by their government, not the other way around. We shouldn't be talking about, who we gonna get in there to change shit. When the old regime, when they get voted out of office, guess what? None of the people that worked in government under them left. Just them and their immediate staff. What about all the people that was enforcing their policies and their rules and shit? Like the county clerk's office, like the utilities company, like all of the people that work for the gas industry, work for the water company. All of those people are part of the government. And if one mayor or governor is ousted and new people come in, all of those people in those positions as well need to be replaced. Because guess what? If they're not, they're going to continue the policies of the old regime. You want to know why gas is so expensive? Because the same motherfuckers in everybody's counties and states are still working there. They've been working there for decades. These people are not going to stop any of their policies on how they run shit. You know why? Because ain't nobody making them. We looking at the wrong people when it comes time for politics to go through. The people we should be looking at is the motherfuckers that's working right there in front of us. Right there in front of us. When you go pay your bills, them the people right there you should be worrying about. Not the people that are in the offices that you can't see. You know why? Because the people that are actually there collecting your money are the ones that are enforcing the policies of these people behind the scenes. And you're never going to get anything that way. Never. You're never going to get anything that way. It's just going to be a bunch of ring around the roses. Shit happening the same way it happened before. they got into it. But if we keep on following these same programs that we've been following since so-called Jim Crow and the Civil Rights era, we're going to keep running into the same prices. I mean, not prices. Yeah, it is prices. You're going to keep on running into the same problems, too. You're going to get the same price. See, because people aren't even paying attention, man. Gas prices, food prices, that shit happens locally. If it didn't happen locally, then why every county has a different price for the same shit that we paying for? Why do when you go to a different city, they have a different price for the same shit that you selling in your neighborhood? If the local governments ain't controlling that shit, then I don't know who is. Because this shit is not happening internationally. California has the highest gas prices. Why? Where they getting their gas from? I know they're getting their gas from the same place. Nevada, Arizona, Texas. Texas might be making its own gas. But still, these all of this shit is occurring in-house. It ain't occurring internationally. The president and all of this shit, these people ain't doing shit for us. They only working for the government, for the overall government. Meaning that if the United States is wealthy, if the United States borders are protected, that's what the president, that's what their job is. That's why he did that shit when he came into office. He put tariffs on everybody who's selling shit to us. He stopped all these illegals from coming across the border. He got rid of all the illegals that's over here. That's the job of the president. He's doing everything he says. Dealing with the treasury, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with the United States Police Force, which is Federal Bureau of Investigations. He's doing all of that shit the president's supposed to do. Now it's our job to kick shit in gear and get on our local government. Who's the president of your state? The governor. See? The governor of your state is the president of your state. So we should be looking at this motherfucker like, hey, Trump is changing all of this shit. What are you changing? Right? He changing stuff nationally. What are you changing locally? That's going to make it better for us. They're not going to talk to you. You know why? Because these are the people that are running shit. You got a better chance talking to Trump than you do your governor of your state. Trying to find a phone number for the governor of your state or some contact information. I guarantee it's going to be a big ass loophole you got to travel through in order to get a message to this motherfucker. Just like the president, right? How is your local government as powerful as the president? Meaning that if citizens can't get in touch with their local representatives, they got to go through a bureaucratic system in order to talk to a motherfucker and get something done. That's because these people are putting themselves ahead of you and they're supposed to be behind you, helping you. And the reason why people can't see this shit is because they following these stupid ass turds talking about boycotting. We're going to boycott. We're not going to buy some clothes or some shit. Man, clothes ain't got nothing to do with this shit. We talking about infrastructure. We talking about utilities. Utilities are what needed to be boycotted. Now, I was saying this to a couple people. We was talking about this shit, throwing it up and talking about how you could boycott without being, put into the red or into the black. And the way you do it is you got to have your neighbors behind you. If you're not good at organizing shit, then you shouldn't be the one that's talking about boycotting because you probably talking about boycotting some shit that's not going to even make a difference. Utilities, gas, electric, water, they need to be boycotted first because that's the infrastructure. And you don't need to just stop paying your utility bill because that's not going to help anything. But everybody needs to not pay their entire utility bill. They need to emphasize that utilities have gone up so much that the only thing we can afford to pay is the bare minimum. And see, then they won't turn your utilities off. And if all your neighbors are doing the same thing, it's going to become a trend. And if it's trending in your city, it'll be trending in your county. If it's trending in your county, it'll be trending in your state. See, that's how this shit works. It's like a reverse pyramid effect. You got to start at the bottom. And the bottom of our pyramid is actually the top, which is utilities. Without utilities, we can't do anything in any of these states. Without electricity, you can't run no business. All right? Without water, you can't even survive. And then don't even talk about freaking gas. Everybody has a car. This should be our main focus, man. We should be focusing on shit like this that's directly affecting us. Buying clothes, man, fuck clothes. Niggas want to wear feathers and fucking skins anyway. You know, fuck clothes. Fuck going out there and buying J's and all that shit. If you boycott Jordans, all they gonna do is take 20 bucks off and niggas gonna jump at that shit. This is how stupid we are. Boycotting something for one day is not going to affect anything on the grand scale. You got to boycott something for at least a quarter of the year. That's 3 months. See, most people don't recognize they have quarterly reviews on the governments every year. They have 4 of them every year. They have a board meeting every 3 months. Nobody even pays attention to this shit. And see, if that shit comes across their desk, first thing they're gonna they're gonna put it as a to-do, something to take a look at. Now, once it's on the docket for a to-do, you see what I'm saying? Now you can start actually pouring into it because it's gonna come up. It's gonna come up on their list of things to deal with. If they see that half a city only paid half the utility bill, they're going to be wondering what the hell's going on. Are people not just paying their entire utility bill? And they're going to see. And you know how long you can get away with that? You can get away with that until your utility bill becomes so high that they have no choice but to restructure your bill. They have no choice but to restructure it. Because guess what? You can't live in apartments and you can't live in houses without utilities. They become inhabitable. And if you have a lot of people that are living in properties that are uninhabitable, then your city just now dropped. That'll get the attention nationally. And then it's like the president right now is threatening motherfuckers about DEI. If you don't participate, if you don't get rid of these policies, you're not getting federal funding. The same thing will happen to your state as well. There's no reason why these people are raising gas prices, utility prices, and water prices. There's no reason why that shit's happening. The only reason why it's happening is because motherfuckers are greedy. That's the only reason why. Nothing has changed infrastructurally wise. Nothing. So when we look at people out here doing this stupid shit like Al Sharpton, doing the same shit Martin Luther King did, and getting the same result, that's insanity. And we following these people thinking that they're gonna help us out. They're not helping us out. They're actually getting kickbacks from the governments to actually make sure that you don't do something that's gonna affect them. Bro, boycotting stores ain't gonna come on, man. You got motherfuckers stealing from stores every day. So just because you ain't buying from them, you think people are gonna stop getting shit? No, man. No, man. That's not how it works. You want something that nobody else controls. Utilities are controlled by the government. Nobody's controlling that. See, the government is an entity. That's when everybody in the government works together, they work together in unison and they work together as a system. That's not a person. So the entity or the system is controlling your utilities. Boycott the utilities. Fuck the stores. Fuck these companies. They're gonna sell regardless if you got money or not. Because what they do if you don't sell no products, they write it off and they claim it in their taxes as a loss. That's another reason why this man Trump is giving us fucking moves on the chessboard, but motherfuckers is playing like checkers. They taking one jump at a time. No, man. Trump can set us up right now with the policies that he's setting forth with Doge and with the removal of this DEI shit. Because now, if we want to complain about our local governments, guess what? We could do it federally now. You know why? Because federal funding's at stake for all of these states. People aren't even paying attention to the fact is that, hey, if somebody in your government is still claiming that they're going to be doing this diversity, equity, and inclusion shit, you can report them to the feds And guess what? They'll be investigated because they're taking federal funds and they're still operating on their own accord. They can't do that. And the way that they're running the system right now in all of these states, it's not leadership, it's likership. They're all running around doing this nepotism shit. They're only pulling people into these jobs that they know that they can trust that's going to follow these fucked up ass rules and policies. So how do you get rid of them? You got to get people that are going to operate individually in one accord, not in a group in one accord individually. You know why? Because at the end of the day, groups break up. Groups break up, and you can't trust somebody that's has a group mentality because they're only in it for themselves, which that's how you're supposed to be in the first place. But they don't see the big picture because they're looking for somebody else to do it for them individually. Meaning, like, if you want to take this shit into your own hands and you want to boycott the utility companies, pay only half your bill. What are they going to say? You're delinquent? No, you're paying your bill. But when they see that multiple people are paying half of their bill in large areas, they're going to see a trend. And you don't think they're going to know that that's boycotting? You don't think they're going to know that that's what's happening? Yes, they're going to know what's happening. But they are expecting you not to know that the only power they have is to restructure your bill. See, they don't want you to know that they really don't have no power because utilities are made by you, believe it or not. Since we started putting solar on houses, the utility companies do not produce electricity no more. All the electricity that's going throughout these cities are being created by solar panels on citizens' homes that are paying for their own utilities. Why do you think they don't make you pay a utility bill when you get solar? You know why? Because you are an electricity producer. You're your own utility company. See, but everybody's not getting solar. So everybody don't know that they're being used by the utility companies. I got solar. I know that I'm being used by the utility company. But that use that I'm being used for is cutting my price on utilities. So if everybody did that, they would realize that they have more power with their local surroundings than they do with national government. I wouldn't be worried about shit. Man, Trump ain't doing shit to us. He ain't doing shit for us. All he's doing right now is setting up moves for us. We got to be smart enough to see the moves that he's setting up for us. He's setting up all these moves for us to take out our own swamps and our own cities and our own states. And they started doing it. Look at California. They got rid of a couple mayors. Look at Illinois. They got rid of a couple of mayors. They're trying to bring people in that are going to listen to the people. And the people are saying that shit's too expensive. You think tariffs is going to bring prices down? Not locally. That's just not going to affect us locally. Matter of fact, it's going to adversely affect us because guess what these local politicians are going to do? They're going to be like, okay, everybody think that Trump's going to bring prices down, huh? But they don't realize that prices aren't affected by Trump's behavior. Prices are affected by our behavior. And guess what? Gas companies, utility companies ain't going to take the sides of the citizens because everybody working at the utility company guaranteed look at their bills. Guarantee, look at the people bills that work at the utility companies, and I guarantee their shit is 10 to 20, maybe even $30 cheaper than your shit. Now, why? Why is it like that? Because they get an employee discount. Well, you say, how can a person at a utility company get an employee discount? The same way a motherfucker at a car dealership gets an employee discount on cars that they would not drop the price for you for. They don't give a fuck how good your credit is. You think they're gonna budge on the price for a car? No, but they'll turn around and give dealers dealers price gouge. You know what I'm saying? They'll give a dealer's cut for their people that sell the cars. Because you guess what that is? That's nepotism. Them people ain't gonna turn around and say that their company is doing wrong when they get a handout from it. Utility companies, we talking about electric, gas, and water. All of those people are getting cuts on their bills to fuck you over to follow policies by local government. And we running around here looking at Trump and Elon retarded ass Musk. We slow, man. We slow. Where's your alderman? I don't give a fuck if he's white, black, Chinese, or freaking Indian. Tell that motherfucker you no longer can pay as we were paying in the past. Everything right now needs to be restructured. Gas prices are $4, almost $5 in some of these states where it was only like 90 cents. We talking about for decades it was 96. I'm talking about almost shit, 40 years, 40, 50 years. All of a sudden now, we got better electronics. We have better infrastructure. We have AI. We have all of these things at our disposal. But gas is more expensive. Why? Why? It's more expensive because these politicians are they're grabbing everything they can grab, man. Their time is coming to an end, and they want to get as much as they can, not only for themselves but for their families, because they realize that they families ain't got no other means of support than working for the populace. There's a system out here that people don't recognize. There's the served and there's the servers. The served are people that are receiving securities, subsidies from the government. Those are the served. People that are on welfare, people that are on social security, people that are on child support or welfare, like that are paid into government 401ks and shit. Those are the served because when they retire, they don't make no more money. They don't produce any more things. So they're being served. But all the servers are trying to act like the served. See, when people found out that they can make money as for serving other people, that became the thing to do. So everybody got into it. When they flooded the market with servers, they ran short of the served. So what they said was, we don't have that many people we serving, so let's raise prices. Let's raise prices so we can knock down the population of the servers. To put everybody to make it even across the board, we're supposed to have even number of served people that are on subsidies and receiving annuities, and we got to have even amount of people on the server side, people that are working jobs that are building their equity. You see what I'm saying? To become the served. But after what we did a couple years ago with the pandemic, we artificially lowered the side of the servers, of the served, and we got an increase of servers. So guess what? When we got all these people out there working, now we can make more money off of those people that are working because we got less people that we're serving. And they're trying to grab on that. They're trying to get this money before us, the people that are coming up now that are becoming the servers, get to that age where we start collecting that money. See, if you're 40, 50 years old, they're trying to take as much as they can right now before you become retired. See, because once you become retired, now that money is going to have to go to you. And they're not going to have a slush fund that they can pull from. Look at all the people that they finding that's been getting Social Security for all of these years for people that probably are dead or that are old and can't do for themselves. So people are just getting this money from them. Guess what? Now it's time for the new group of people to come into that realm. The boomers are out the way. The who else was before the boomers? Now Gen X is coming up. It's time for them to get their time in the sun and bask in the in retirement. And so right now we had a grace period because we haven't made it to that age yet. So they're trying to steal as much as they can. We need to start looking locally because the local governments are trying to do the same thing as the federal government. And that's not how it's supposed to be set up. The federal government and the local government is supposed to be at odds. They're supposed to be the ones that protect us from the federal government and vice versa. But nobody's utilizing this method no more. See, everybody wants to pay their bills and do things the way things have been going for years, but they don't recognize they're not treating us the way things have been going for years. The things that really have changed are prices for utilities, not prices for commodities. Utilities have gone up. And when our utilities go up, guess what? Commodities go up as well. We think these people are doing us a favor when in actuality, we are blinded and kind of retarded because the favor that they think they're doing is us not going after them. Oh, we're gonna save you the chance, save you the trouble of having to come after us. We're just going to allow everything to go to hell. And see, if you could do without, you know, the commodities, then you're doing good right now. If you could do without all the expensive shit, cause look, regular shit is too expensive. The average person ain't going out buying shit like they used to be. I mean, they got to worry about gas, utilities, water, all the shit that we were supposed to be promised that was going to be affordable in this country and be at our access. We ain't getting that. Not at the price we supposed to be getting it. We got free water, bro, underground. We got free water on land, but they charging you to use it. That doesn't even make sense. The water that you use is being recycled back into the system. You think when we use that water, it's gone? No. It goes down the drain into a septic or into a pipe and it gets pushed right back into the source. It either gets pushed into the groundwater, it gets pushed into the surface water. Either way, the same thing with the electricity. We think that once we use electricity on our appliances, it's gone. No. That shit gets recycled right back into the grid and it gets sent right back to us. The only time they have problems when they need stuff is when they're adding stuff to the infrastructure. Like when they started adding all of those damn electric car plugs down there in California. Guess what they was having? Rolling blackouts. Yeah. And they were blaming it on people running their AC in the most hottest time of the year. That's stupid shit. If you wouldn't put in electrical car company fucking charging stations, we wouldn't have all these rolling blackouts. And people didn't even catch on to that shit. Bro, I was in high school telling everybody, hey, man, they putting in electrical car chargers. We don't even have electrical cars. And this shit was happening back in the early 90s. And then right after that, right when they got to like 94, 95, they started having rolling blackouts. And they wonder why. Well, they had to charge all of them stations. You don't think that that's going to pull energy from parts of the grid and it's going to cause certain parts to go black until that shit charges up? They doing the same thing right now. Where do you think all the water is going? They redirected all the water from California. Where do you think that shit was going? We think it was going into the ocean. No, man. It was going to bottled water companies. Bottled water companies was selling you the water that was naturally coming to you in the first place. Y'all getting recycled piss and shit water from your wastewater treatment companies, and these motherfuckers is taking the fresh water, putting it in bottles, and turning around and selling it to you, dumbass. See, because nobody know about how infrastructure works. If you knew how infrastructure worked, you wouldn't fall for that stupid shit. And most people fall for it because guess what? They're too busy concentrating on the federal government. They're too busy concentrating on shit like skin color, civil rights and shit. Man, none of that shit's gonna matter if you ain't got no energy to go out there and fucking do it. How you gonna get to your rallies if you ain't got gas for your car because you can't afford it? Huh? How you gonna get on your computer and put your fucking racist posts out there when you ain't got electricity? This is the shit that people need to be concentrating on. Stop worrying about the federal government, what Trump and all these people are doing, and start worrying about what your local government is doing. And I'm telling you, there's methods on how to deal with this shit. You want to bring prices down in your local area? You got to get people to stop fucking listening to these dumbass people when it comes to protesting and actually learn how to boycott shit. Boycotting something is not going cold turkey. That's eliminating shit. Boycotting stuff is trying to manipulate people into seeing things your way by utilizing your resources. You ain't got to have your utilities turned off, but I guarantee if you pay half the bill 2 or 3 months, I guarantee, and if there's enough of people doing this shit, the utility companies are going to take note of this shit and they're going to say, we have a problem. We are having a problem. And it's going to come up on the local government's docket, and they're going to do it one of the quarters out of the year. They're going to bring up why utility prices are so high that people can only pay half the utility bills. Man, the utility bills are so high out here in Nevada. There's a base in Nevada that couldn't pay their utility bills. They was $5 million in debt with the local utility company here in Nevada. You might be able to find it. Look it up. Nevada military base, $5 million in debt with the utility companies. They was talking about turning the utilities off on a military base. Look it up. It's well known. But nobody ain't paying attention to that shit. Now you ask, how did they settle the $5 million bet? You think they went down there and paid $5 million? Hell no. The government ain't gonna pay no $5 million for some shit that they know is being recycled utilities. And everybody that got solar panels on their house is providing electricity for the state. Come on, man. They only needed 25% of the people from every state to get solar on their house in order to take control of the grid, in order to run the grid without having to create utilities, without having to create electricity. 25%. The other 75% could be just on the grid. Who gives a fuck? But that 25% puts solar panels on their house, runs the whole grid for that state. Just think about that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at it like this. I say